strike collusion between the Biden-Harris administration and big tech to censor political speech. Are you arguing that that didn't take place?
I believe that the most important thing right now, in this moment, I do not believe that took place. I should put that out front. But I believe in this moment.
You don't think that happened?
I do not.
So the letter that Mark Zuckerberg wrote this committee, he was lying to us? That's a question. He wrote us a letter.
I cannot speak for.
The letter was. I mean, the very news people you were talking about. The letter was all over the news. He wrote us a letter last summer and said the Biden administration pressured us to censor. We did it. We're sorry. We're not going to do it again. And they've subsequently changed their policy. So I'm asking, do you? You said you didn't think that happened. He admitted it happened.
Would the gentlelady yield?
He runs the company.
Gentlelady yield?
I will.
No, it's not your time. It's my time.
Oh.
I will not then.
Yeah.
Turns out I can't yield.
No,
exactly. The gentleman yield.
You can't yield. I'll be happy to yield to the
Thank you. I just want to point out that what Mr. Zuckerberg was saying was censorship, in fact, was fact-checking.
That's right.
Which he decided that Meta would no longer do. Fact-checking, especially in an era when we have a president who lies incessantly, is essential. I yield back.
Well, I think it's interesting they got rid of the fact checker because the fact checker always turned out to be fact checking and stopping real speech that's protected under the First Amendment. So again, the proper place.
Absolutely.
First of all, you said you wanted to strike the language that's true. And you want to add in this other language. The proper place for this, as I've said again multiple times, is to put it in the minority views, which will be part of the oversight plan. But for some reason, that doesn't seem to be good enough for the minority.
Will the chairman yield?
Yeah, sure.
Just to pursue this point for a moment, this claim that this was fact-checking, wasn't this a suppression of New York Post reporting on the genuineness of the Hunter Biden laptop, which included the most incriminating evidence against a president involving family influence peddling that I think has ever been produced, and it turned out to be true. So what they were actually doing was suppressing facts, not checking them.
Suppressing facts and doing violation to the First Amendment and free speech rights of Americans. Who seeks recognition? Gentlelady, Ms. Crockett is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. It's so interesting to me that we all swear an oath to the Constitution, and we say that we take that oath seriously. But when it comes into actually doing something that looks like preserving that oath or looks like preserving the Constitution, we get a little wobbly, and I'm not really understanding what's going on. Freedom of press doesn't look like kicking out the Washington Post, or actually the Huffington Post has been kicked out. We know that the Associated Press has been kicked out, and now the Washington Post is not going to allow for op-eds in any way if for some reason they criticize the sitting president of the United States. What this is starting to feel like is a smaller version of Russia. And I am trying to tell you that we are nothing like Russia. We are not supposed to be like Russia, but that is what we've got going on. And I'm sorry, I know that some of my colleagues still struggle with answering the question of who won the election in 2020. And you may have felt a way when you had social media checking people and saying, no, Trump did not win the election in 2020. That is absolutely factual. And unfortunately, because some people got all riled up because they believed the lies, they ended up getting locked up because they decided that they were going to believe the lies. They ended up at the Capitol on January 6th, and they were trying to tear this thing apart because they felt like their country was falling apart in front of their eyes because for whatever reason, there were people in power that were peddling a lie about the election. We also know, and some of y'all may still say that COVID was a hoax. COVID wasn't a hoax. Tell that to the over 1 million people that died under Donald Trump's first watch. It wasn't a hoax. So no, I do believe that it was okay. In fact, I do believe that it was ethically right for social media to check people because you had people that didn't know anything about science and decided that they were going to put out whatever lies or propaganda or conspiracy theories they wanted to, and people died. At some point in time, we have to evaluate what is factual. And I know that facts hurt y'all, and I just wish we could get on the same page, but we do know during the presidential election that the president would not go and participate in anything if fact-checking was going to be a part of it, because he didn't want to be fact-checked. We know that the vice president got upset in his vice presidential debate when he was fact-checked. It used to be a time in this country that we as members of Congress or elected officials thought that it was okay to just tell the truth. Instead, we're pushing conspiracy theories, and some of them are killing people. It's the same thing that we have coming out of Doge. It's the reason that people are dying. It's the reason that farmers are losing their farms, because we continue to peddle conspiracy theories. It is time for us to say, Mr. President, guess what? Russia invaded Ukraine. Can we at least agree on that one? Facts matter. Y'all, this is literally potentially putting us into an international crisis. We may be heading towards the next world war because we have a president that wants to pal around with Putin and wants to do everything to make him feel good, including lying about who invaded who. Mr. Chair, I got a minute left, but I really want to yield to any of my colleagues and ask them if they will say today, very basically, that when it came down to the war in Ukraine, that it was not Ukraine that invaded Russia, it was the other way around. Is there anybody in here that has enough courage to say that Russia invaded Ukraine?
You can have my time.
And this is yet the problem. This is the problem. That is not infringing upon free speech.
Will the gentlelady yield?
I will yield to the right.
Thank you, Ms. Crockett. To be clear, your challenge, I think, was across the aisle, because I think every member on your side of the aisle agrees with the obvious fact that Vladimir Putin ordered the filthy, bloody, imperialistic invasion of Ukraine. And in fact, at the time, Donald Trump as president never denied it. In fact, he praised it. He said it was, quote, an act of genius when Putin ordered the invasion of Ukraine. So I would hope some of our colleagues would consent to at least that historical point, since we think history is so important. There are people who want to relive that in our oversight report.
And therein lies the problem.
The time of the gentlelady has expired. The gentleman from California.
In a tense congressional hearing that quickly went viral, Jasmine Crockett delivered a sharp and forceful response to questions from Jim Jordan and several Republican lawmakers during a televised exchange on Capitol Hill. As the debate intensified, Crockett pushed back strongly against their arguments, accusing Republicans of misrepresenting key issues and attempting to shift the narrative during the hearing. With a rapid series of pointed remarks and rebuttals, she challenged their claims directly, drawing attention to what she described as inconsistencies in their positions. The heated exchange captured the attention of viewers and quickly spread across social media, with many highlighting Crockett's combative style and confident delivery during the live broadcast. The moment became one of the most talked about segments of the hearing, illustrating the deep partisan divide inside Congress and the increasingly confrontational nature of modern political debates.